Welcome back to Crime Story with Camila. Today we talk about the chilling story of the mysterious disappearance of Nicola Bulley, a case that shook the nation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more videos. On the morning of January 27th, 2023, the small town of St. Michael's-on-Wyre in Lancashire, England, was about to become the focal point of a mystery that would captivate the world. What started as a simple walk in the park would soon lead to a tragic disappearance that left everyone questioning, what really happened to Nicola Bulley? Nicola Bulley was more than just a name in the headlines. She was a beloved mother, partner, and friend, living a life full of love, laughter, and routine. Born in 1977, Nicola grew up in Lancashire and had always been a vibrant presence in her community. A devoted mother to her two daughters, aged 6 and 9, and a longtime partner to Paul Ansell, she was deeply invested in the happiness and well-being of those around her. Outside of her home life, Nicola was known as a hardworking professional. For over 25 years, she worked as a mortgage advisor, helping families secure homes and navigate the complexities of finance. Her colleagues described her as warm, kind, and a true team player, always putting others first, even when juggling her busy career and raising a young family. Nicola also had a deep love for nature. She often found peace and solace in the outdoors, whether it was hiking, running, or walking her dog, Willow, along the serene paths near her home in St. Michael's-on-Wyre. This was part of her daily routine, a brief escape from the stresses of life to refresh her mind and body. Outside of her work and family responsibilities, Nicola was also known for her lively social circle. She had close-knit friends and was very much a part of her local community. People who knew her described her as warm-hearted, always looking out for those she cared about, and someone who never hesitated to lend a helping hand. Her love for her family was the foundation of her world. Whether it was taking her daughters to school or planning weekend trips with Paul, Nicola always prioritized her loved ones. Her family was at the core of everything she did, and they were the ones who would feel the deepest pain when her world was turned upside down. Despite the normalcy of her life, Nicola's family had no idea that, on this particular January morning, she would never return from her walk. Nicola Bulley wasn't just a victim. She was a woman who led a full and meaningful life, with a family who adored her and a community that cherished her. But the peaceful life she had built would be shattered in a matter of hours. The morning of January 27th, 2023, began like many others for Nicola Bulley. It was a chilly Friday morning in St. Michael's-on-Wyre, a quiet village in Lancashire, England. The house was filled with the sounds of a busy family getting ready for the day ahead. Nicola's routine was nothing out of the ordinary. She dropped her two young daughters, aged 6 and 9, off at school, just like any other day. A quick exchange with the teachers, a warm hug for the girls, and a promise to pick them up later. It was clear that family was at the center of her life, as it always had been. By 8:40 a.m., Nicola was back at home, quickly preparing for the second part of her morning. She grabbed her essentials, her phone, her keys, and her dog, Willow, ready for their daily walk by the river. Like many mornings before, she set off to enjoy some time outdoors, a routine that she had cherished to maintain balance in her busy life. Nicola's walk took her along the familiar footpaths of the River Wyre, a peaceful route surrounded by nature. The morning fog still hung over the river, giving the scene an almost surreal quality. It was a place where she felt comfortable, a place where she had walked this path countless times, each step a part of her daily rhythm. It was a quiet moment, just her and Willow, with no indication that anything was about to change. At 8:43 a.m., Nicola arrived at the usual spot, a bench by the river, the perfect place to stop and take in the view. Willow was happy as ever, and it was during these few moments that she would leave her phone on the bench, momentarily distracted by the simple beauty of the landscape. It was a short pause in her walk, a peaceful moment in a routine she had enjoyed countless times before. But this moment would be the last known trace of Nicola before she vanished without a sign. By 9 a.m., Nicola's family, friends, and loved ones would still have no reason to suspect anything was amiss. But as time ticked on, the suddenness of her disappearance would send shockwaves through the small community of St. Michael's-on-Wyre. At some point after Nicola had paused by the river, something, or someone, changed the course of the morning. What began as a routine walk would take a tragic turn that no one could have predicted. At 9:01 a.m., a call was made to Nicola's phone, but it went unanswered. Her phone remained on the bench, unlocked, with no sign of distress or struggle. Her dog, Willow, was found nearby, calm and waiting, but no sign of Nicola anywhere. The fact that the phone was left behind, unlocked, added to the confusion. It was as if she had simply vanished without a trace. There was no sign of foul play, no indication of a struggle, just a calm river, a dog waiting, and a phone sitting alone. Nicola's absence didn't go unnoticed for long. When she didn't return home by 9:30 a.m. to pick up her daughters from school, concern quickly turned to panic. Her family, who were expecting her back to pick up the girls from school, soon realized something was terribly wrong. The search began almost immediately, but as the minutes turned into hours, the mystery deepened. Within hours, the police were called, and the search for Nicola intensified. The police and volunteers scoured the riverbanks and surrounding area, searching for any sign of her. The River Wyre became the focal point of the search. Despite an extensive search, no evidence of Nicola's whereabouts surfaced. The surrounding areas, which were typically quiet and serene, now became the scene of a tense and growing mystery. As the hours passed and no trace of Nicola was found, the sense of confusion turned to concern. Where could she have gone? How could someone vanish so suddenly from a place she knew so well? For those who knew Nicola, the mystery was even more confounding. She was an experienced walker, a mother with a strong connection to her community. For her to vanish without a trace seemed almost impossible. The search would continue for days, but as each hour passed, the unanswered questions multiplied. Was Nicola a victim of foul play, or had something more mysterious occurred? The initial assumption was that Nicola had either fallen into the river or had been involved in some sort of accident. Yet, despite the comprehensive search efforts, no body, no clue, no trace of her was found. As days turned into weeks and no solid leads emerged, the media began to focus on Nicola's disappearance. News outlets, social media, and even local communities became flooded with questions and theories. The once peaceful village of St. Michael's on Wyre was now under the microscope. With no answers and few clues, the media speculation began. Theories about what might have happened to Nicola ranged from the plausible to the utterly bizarre, each one contributing to the growing mystery. One of the most prominent theories was that Nicola had been the victim of foul play. With her phone left behind and no sign of struggle, many speculated that someone could have lured her into a trap or that she had been taken against her will. However, the lack of physical evidence, the absence of any witness accounts, and the serene nature of the area left many wondering, how could this have happened without anyone seeing anything? Another theory, though less sensational, suggested that Nicola might have had an accident. Given her route by the river, some believed she may have slipped and fallen into the water. The river was shallow, but the current was strong, leading some to wonder if the water had swept her away. Despite extensive searches by the police and volunteers, the river yielded no signs of Nicola's body, and questions arose as to whether the river had been thoroughly combed or if something else had happened. As the investigation deepened, some suggested that Nicola might have been suffering from mental health issues, leading her to wander off or act in an unexpected way. While this theory was fueled by the emotional distress of the family and the pressures of daily life, many close to Nicola rejected this idea. They described her as a loving, dedicated mother who had never shown signs of extreme mental health struggles. Some speculated that Nicola might have left on her own accord, choosing to disappear for personal reasons. A voluntary disappearance, perhaps driven by personal turmoil or a desire to escape. However, this theory was quickly met with skepticism. Nicola had no known history of wanting to disappear, and there was no indication that she had planned to leave her life behind. Her family and friends could not believe she would abandon her children and loved ones without any explanation. As the days turned into weeks and the theories continued to emerge, the pressure on the authorities grew. What could have happened to Nicola Bulley? Was there a simple explanation, or was something darker at play? Public opinion was divided, with some questioning the efforts of the police, while others rallied behind the investigation, hoping for answers. What had started as a quiet village mystery now had the eyes of the world on it. Theories, while they provided some comfort to those desperate for answers, only seemed to deepen the confusion. Each theory introduced new questions, but none offered the clarity or resolution that the family and the public so desperately needed. Theories, speculations, and endless discussions would continue, but the most pressing question remained. Where was Nicola Bulley, and why had she disappeared from a place she knew so well? As the search for Nicola Bulley continued, one question loomed over the entire investigation. What really happened on that fateful day? The tranquil River Wyre, once a place of peace and routine, now seemed to hold an unsettling silence, as if the answers lay hidden beneath its surface. Nicola's family was left in turmoil, their lives turned upside down by her sudden and inexplicable disappearance. They repeatedly pleaded for answers, for closure, and for an end to the unbearable uncertainty. Every passing day without answers only deepened their anguish, leaving them to wonder if they would ever see their beloved Nicola again. Despite the relentless efforts of law enforcement, the investigation faced mounting challenges. Leads turned cold, theories collided, and the lack of physical evidence became an insurmountable obstacle. Detectives were left chasing shadows, piecing together fragments of evidence that refused to form a complete picture. With so many theories swirling in the media, the line between speculation and truth blurred. Theories offered possibilities, but no answers. Each one left the same haunting question hanging in the air. What happened to Nicola Bulley? For every theory proposed, another question arose, and the truth seemed further out of reach. Months passed, but the haunting question remained. How could a woman vanish without a trace in such a familiar and open place? The answers seemed just beyond reach, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to uncover them. Until the truth is revealed, the story of Nicola Bulley will remain a haunting question, a mystery that continues to grip the hearts of those searching for answers. The disappearance of Nicola Bulley on the morning of January 27, 2023, prompted an immediate response from local law enforcement. Lancashire police arrived at the scene within hours of the first reports, initiating a comprehensive search effort. The search initially focused on the area near the bench where Nicola's phone and her dog, Willow, were found. Investigators quickly realized the significance of this location. It was the last known place where she was seen. The first step was securing the scene to preserve any potential evidence. Officers worked to ensure that the area remained undisturbed as forensic experts were called in to assist. The police immediately began speaking with local residents and witnesses, piecing together a timeline of Nicola's movements that morning. They also appealed to the public for any information that could help. Technology played a crucial role in the early stages of the investigation. Drones, thermal imaging cameras, and search dogs were deployed to cover the dense terrain and the unpredictable waters of the River Wyre. Despite their best efforts, early searches yielded no significant evidence. The unpredictable currents of the river and the expansive area to cover made the task daunting. But the police remained resolute, knowing time was critical. With no immediate answers, the search for Nicola Bulley had only just begun. For law enforcement, every passing moment added weight to the urgency of finding her. As hours turned into days, the search for Nicola Bulley expanded into one of the most extensive operations in the region's history. The focus remained on the River Wyre, where her belongings had been discovered, and the surrounding areas. The search began with an intense focus on the riverbanks, where Nicola had been walking that morning. Specialist search dogs were brought in to help detect any scent trails that might lead investigators to her. Drones equipped with thermal imaging cameras scanned the area from above, offering a bird's-eye view of the challenging terrain. These technological tools allowed investigators to cover a larger area in less time. Underwater search teams entered the River Wyre, combing its depths for any signs of Nicola. The murky water and unpredictable currents made the search painstakingly slow and treacherous. With no immediate discoveries, the search perimeter was widened to include wooded areas, fields, and outlying properties. Every possible route Nicola could have taken was explored. The search did not stop when the sun went down. Teams worked tirelessly through the night, knowing that every second counted in the effort to find Nicola. The local community rallied to support the effort, with volunteers dedicating their time to cover as much ground as possible. The quiet village of St. Michael's-on-Wyre became a hub of activity, united by the hope of bringing Nicola home. Despite their best efforts, search teams faced mounting challenges. The vast area, combined with the lack of physical evidence, left investigators grasping for answers. As the search expanded, the mystery deepened. The question remained, where was Nicola Bulley, and what had happened to her that morning by the river? One of the most perplexing aspects of Nicola's disappearance was the presence of her loyal companion, Willow. The dog was found unharmed near the bench by the riverbank, a silent witness to the morning's events. At approximately 9:33 a.m., a passerby noticed Willow near the bench, her leash still attached, but Nicola nowhere in sight. The dog's unusual behavior immediately raised alarms. Experts suggested that Willow's behavior could hold vital clues. Her calm demeanor suggested she had not witnessed anything that might have caused her to panic, such as an act of violence or a sudden accident. The expert speaks against the backdrop of the river, referencing canine psychology as they gesture toward the area where Willow was found. Despite extensive efforts to interpret Willow's actions, the dog provided more questions than answers. Why was her leash still attached? Why did she remain by the bench? And most hauntingly, what had Willow seen that morning? Willow became a central figure in public speculation. Many believed her presence might hold the key to unlocking the mystery. Others saw her as a poignant symbol of the heartbreak surrounding Nicola's disappearance. To Nicola's loved ones, Willow was more than just a witness. She was a reminder of the life Nicola had built, a connection to her warmth, and a silent partner in the ongoing search for the truth. As the search continued, Willow's quiet presence became a poignant reminder of the unanswered questions surrounding Nicola's disappearance, a mystery that only deepened with time. As the investigation unfolded, a troubling gap in the timeline emerged, a critical window of time that held the key to understanding Nicola's disappearance. At 8:43 a.m., Nicola was seen walking along the River Wyre after dropping off her daughters at school. By 8:53 a.m., she had joined a work conference call via Microsoft Teams. At 9:20 a.m., Nicola's phone, still connected to the call, was placed on the bench near the riverbank. This was the last confirmed trace of her actions before her disappearance. At 9:33 a.m., a concerned passerby discovered Nicola's phone on the bench and Willow pacing nearby. The dog's leash was still attached, but Nicola was nowhere to be seen. This 13-minute gap became the focal point of the investigation. What happened during this brief window? Did Nicola leave the area voluntarily, or was she taken by force? And why was there no sign of a struggle? The lack of concrete evidence fueled widespread speculation. Some believed she may have fallen into the river, while others pointed to the possibility of foul play or an intentional disappearance. Investigators scoured the area for clues, reviewing CCTV footage and speaking to anyone who might have seen Nicola during that time. Yet, despite their efforts, the timeline remained frustratingly incomplete. The search area's challenging terrain added to the complexity. With limited witnesses and no clear signs of Nicola's whereabouts, the investigation seemed to stall. The missing timeline, a 13-minute mystery that left investigators and Nicola's family searching for answers. It was within this small window that the unthinkable had occurred, leaving behind only questions. As the search for Nicola Bulley intensified, the media began to take notice. What started as a local investigation quickly escalated into a story that gripped the entire nation. Within days, news outlets across the UK began covering the case, highlighting the mysterious circumstances and the growing concern from Nicola's family and friends. The media attention sparked a massive public response. Social media platforms lit up with calls to action as people shared Nicola's story and urged others to come forward with information. As media scrutiny grew, so did the pressure on law enforcement. Every move by investigators was now under the watchful eye of the public and the press, adding a new layer of complexity to the case. The media also provided a platform for Nicola's loved ones to plead for information. Paul Ansell, her partner, made emotional appeals for her safe return, describing the unbearable uncertainty they were facing. Paul Ansell, "We just want her back. If anyone knows anything, no matter how small, please come forward." However, with the media spotlight came rampant speculation. Theories about Nicola's fate ranged from tragic accidents to sinister foul play, fueling public debate and sometimes overshadowing the facts. Social media sleuths and amateur detectives also entered the fray, dissecting every detail of the case. While some contributions were well-meaning, others veered into unfounded accusations and wild conspiracies. The growing attention forced investigators to navigate a delicate balance, keeping the public informed while protecting the integrity of their investigation. On that fateful morning, two dog walkers, taking their usual route along the River Wyre, noticed something unusual. One of the walkers glanced toward the riverbank and saw a body partially submerged in the water. Immediately, they contacted emergency services, unsure of the identity, but knowing the discovery was serious. Police responded swiftly, securing the area and beginning the process of recovering the body. Within hours, a team of forensic experts and investigators were on site, carefully retrieving the body. It was clear that this discovery marked a turning point in the investigation, but the identity of the person was still unknown. As news began to spread, authorities were quick to release a statement, though many questions remained unanswered. The village and the nation awaited further confirmation. Who had been found in the river? The recovery of the body was just the beginning. With the area secured and forensic teams working around the clock, the search for answers took a significant turn. It wasn't until the following day that the heartbreaking confirmation came. On February 20th, 2023, Lancashire police held a press conference, revealing the results of the forensic identification process. It was confirmed that the body found in the River Wyre was indeed that of Nicola Bulley. For Nicola's family, the discovery offered the closure they desperately needed, but it also brought with it an unending sense of grief. They had spent weeks wondering if she was still alive, clinging to hope, but now they had to confront the reality of her loss. While the confirmation brought an end to the search, it also opened a new chapter in the investigation, one that would be defined by many lingering questions about how Nicola ended up in the river and what truly happened in those final moments before she vanished. The confirmation of Nicola Bulley's death sent shockwaves through her community. St. Michael's on Wyre, once a quiet and peaceful village, was now the epicenter of a tragedy that had touched lives far beyond its borders. Friends, neighbors, and strangers alike flooded the area, drawn by a deep sense of compassion and loss. The village, which had spent weeks in uncertainty, was now left with a feeling of emptiness. Questions lingered, but the community's outpouring of support for Nicola's family was undeniable. Locals spoke of Nicola as a kind and dedicated mother, a woman who had always put family first. Her presence in the community had been felt, her smile infectious, and her spirit one of warmth and kindness. A vigil was held in her honor, where the entire village came together to mourn and reflect on the life of a mother, a partner, and a friend. People spoke of the impact she had on their lives, the love she gave, and the warmth she brought to the lives she touched. Nicola's partner, Paul, and their 2 young daughters were left to grapple with the unimaginable loss. In the wake of Nicola's death, Paul addressed the press, his grief clear as he tried to process the void left by her absence. While the grief of her family and the community weighed heavily, questions still loomed over the circumstances of Nicola's death. Was it an accident? Did something darker happen? As the investigation continued, the pain of the loss only intensified, and the need for answers became even more pressing. While the discovery of Nicola Bulley's body brought an end to the frantic search, it only sparked a new wave of questions that have haunted her family, the community, and the public. What really happened that morning by the River Wyre? Was it a tragic accident, or something more sinister? The investigation into Nicola's disappearance has been fraught with uncertainty. The timeline of events leading up to her death is still unclear, and the circumstances surrounding how she ended up in the water remain a mystery. Forensic experts were unable to determine whether Nicola had fallen into the river by accident, or if her body had been placed there after her death. There were no clear signs of injury, but the river itself, deep and fast-moving, added complexity to the case. Questions surrounding the timeline have also raised eyebrows. While the last known sighting of Nicola was at 8:43 a.m. when she left her phone on the bench, there is no definitive explanation for what happened in the moments that followed. Her dog, Willow, was found alone, but what happened to Nicola? Some speculated that Nicola may have been distracted by something along the riverbank. Others questioned whether she had encountered someone. Was there a struggle? Did she fall? Or was she pushed into the waters? Theories began to circulate in the media, with some suggesting foul play, while others leaned toward the idea of an accidental drowning. However, none of the speculation could provide the clear answers that Nicola's family so desperately needed. The media, too, became a double-edged sword. As the investigation progressed, speculation grew in public forums and news outlets, some more responsible than others. The family pleaded for respect and privacy, but the press coverage intensified, causing even more emotional strain. Amidst the frenzy of public and media speculation, one thing became clear: no one had definitive answers. The pain of not knowing what happened, combined with the controversy surrounding the case, left many to wonder if Nicola's tragic story would ever have a clear resolution.
Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, please subscribe.